To review, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. New business, item number 1 is resolution authorizing the mayor to attest an amendment to the agreement between the city of Tuscaloosa and Ticketmaster, whereby Ticketmaster shall provide an event ticketing system for the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. Welcome, Ms. Kay.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
Good.
Good, thank you. So this is a resolution authorizing the mayor to attest an amendment to the agreement between the city of Tuscaloosa and Ticketmaster. Basically, this extends our current Ticketmaster contract for the next 5 years. They've not raised our fees since 2016. We had the ability to extend it 3 to 5 years, and we jumped on the 5 years to extend it.
Questions for Ms. Kay?
There was there was a recent squall over Taylor Swift concert. Was that Ticketmaster?
Yes, sir.
Are there any implications to us?
No, sir. No, that's one reason why we jumped on this deal. Like I said, they've not raised our fees.
I
And
mean,
this-
there was talk of breaking up or
if
breaking
that's,
them up.
if that's gonna happen, that would
This
be
is
down the
it's
road, yes,
not.
sir. But this is a good deal for the city.
Any other questions? Would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Kay.
I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Also,
sure.
if this is approved, this needs to be done by December 31st.
That's
Just so you know, it's the end of the current contract,
Okay.
so we should be good.
So
Thank you.
it'll come to
We'll-
us in council next
We'll
week.
approve it next Tuesday.
The mayor
Yes, sir.
have time
Yeah.
to sign it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kay.
Sorry about that.
Item number 2 is approval of right-of-way use permit for the Reston Place Homeowners Association to install landscape and irrigation at the intersection of Snows Mill Road and Rice Mine Road. Mike, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. The homeowners association is wanting to dress up you can see in this aerial view, some pretty scraggly landscaping or vegetation there at the corner of Rice Mine and Snows Mill. That gives you a ground view of it. It'll be removing those trees that are there and putting some more decorative stuff there. We're okay with it. It won't extend out beyond that utility marker sign right there. There'll be no issues with sight distance at the intersection.
That will
Looks
really
good.
look good compared to what's there. That's good. Grateful they want to do that. Questions?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Item number 3, authorization for letter of support for proposed curb and post delineators on Hackberry at the Norfolk Southern rail grade crossing. Calvin,
Good afternoon, Council.
come to us.
AC is requesting a letter of approval for the curb and post delineators on Hackberry Lane at the Norfolk Southern Railroad crossing just north of 15th Street. And this will be done as part of Norfolk Southern's ALDOT hazard elimination project. There was a similar project done on the 10th Avenue Railroad crossing just north of 15th Street, and we're requesting to do the same thing at this railroad crossing.
Do you know
Calvin,
when will they begin?
If approved,
If approved.
if approved, this would be on Norfolk Southern and ALDOT's proposed schedule, and I have to get some more information on that.
Okay.
I will get you that.
Calvin, there's 2 separate railroad lines crossing Hackberry there, right?
That's right.
Norfolk Southern and Kansas City, I think. Some
KCS.
2.
Yes.
So Norfolk Southern is the southernmost.
The southernmost line, yes.
Is anything similar gonna be done for the northernmost, which is the other rail line?
It wasn't approved in their scope, but on that northern line, they have it striped in a way that it sort of divides the traffic. I'm not sure if I put a drawing in here. But I can see that as well. So it won't be done on that northern end. It'll be done where, I guess, the southern and the middle portions.
Curb and post delineators.
Yes.
You got a picture?
It's in the packet.
It's in the packet.
Yes.
it'll look just like it does at 10th Street. 10th Street and the, right there by Rumsey's office, right there.
10th Avenue.
10th Avenue, right, sorry, 10th Avenue, going toward the stadium.
Okay, I got no more questions.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Calvin.
Thank you all.
Item number 4 is approval of balancing change order to the contract with One Call Services for the Greensboro Avenue 200 block sewer repair project, deductive total $21,837.50. Josh, welcome.
Good afternoon. This is for the Greensboro Avenue 200 block sewer repair project, which consisted of some rerouting of sewer, storm drain improvements, and slope stabilization. It's a deductive change order of $21,837.50.
That's good. I can get that right.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Josh, we like reports like that. Please come back. Item number 5 is approval of the 2023 general services contract with Jacobs. Total is $50,000. Welcome, Kimberly.
Hello. This is our general services contract that we do annually with Jacobs Engineering. This is used for different things at the water treatment plant, and then also for the management and maintenance of our screen program, which is used to grade the collection lines. If you recall, with the 4-wide spill that we had, Jacobs was our engineer that we had on standby that helped us with those type things as well, with different permitting issues and things like that. So, and this is budgeted in the water and sewer operations budget.
Questions?
Motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Kimberly. Item number 6 is approval of contract with Sprout Social Inc. for social media management. Total $10,152.48.
Good afternoon,
Good
councilors.
afternoon.
Kevin Lake is sick today, so I'm here in his stead. Sprout Social is an annual budgeted expense for our social media management software that allows us to schedule our posts out ahead of time, as well as create approval workflows with our team.
Is this similar to our last year's contract, or is it?
It's exactly the same as last
Exactly
year's,
the
yes,
same.
sir.
It's in the budget, right?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7, approval to enter into a professional services contract with TTL for subdivision and rezoning of the Benjamin Barnes Y project site. Total $27,100. Welcome, Jonathan.
Thank you, sir. This one is to resurvey and subdivide out an existing parcel, so 57-acre parcel. What we want to do is break that into 4, and we would have the Benjamin Barnes over on McDonald Hughes. That would be one parcel, about 17, 18 acres. We're also going to combine do away with some existing lot lines on a second parcel there along Ash Street. Let's see if we got this on here. No, it's not on there. Okay. It's probably in your packet. And combine that into one lot there. So we would then end up having a second, third, and fourth lot where the water department is now, and then 2 lots across Calton. If we get this approved today and then at council, the timeline for that work would be planning and zoning hearing would be February 20th. Could go to city council for rezoning intro February 28th or March 7th, and then final reading and approval on March 28th or April 4th if we move forward with it now.
Explain again why this is necessary.
The current property is one large parcel, and there's also a second parcel along Ash. It's about a 4-acre parcel that was an original plat for individual lots. So we want to combine the part of the one big 57-acre parcel with that second smaller parcel, so that we have the Benjamin Barnes YMCA and the McDonald Hughes Center on one parcel that's separate from the water department shop, and then the other 2 vacant lots across Calton Road to the east. So we're basically cleaning up and getting the Benjamin Barnes YMCA and McDonald Hughes on one single lot, separate from the other city property.
So Jonathan, although this won't be in my district, this is the McDonald's Houston and proposed one.
Yes, sir.
So, in preliminary design with Chambliss King, the space that was shown to us and the constituents of Tuscaloosa, where would that fit in this scope?
If you look on that proposed lot one, there's that, along that arc
That red
there.
dot?
Yes, sir, along the arc, the round circle is the storm shelter, and then you can see right there along MLK, you've got the parking lot. So the siting of the Benjamin Barnes actually crosses the smaller 4-acre parcel that has those individual subdivision lots on it.
Gotcha.
And so we want to combine that into one lot for sure.
Gotcha.
And then we wanted to break that off separate from the other 3 parcels right there where you go on to where the water department shop is currently located.
Gotcha.
And just separate that and get that completely separated from the rest of the city property to the east.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And are there plans for those other lots?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
Not that this project's involved with?
No, sir.
Water and sewer, Jack. Don't know.
It basically, I believe that's 29th. On the map, it says Poplar, but on
Can't even see your number.
the west edge of 29th Avenue is where we would separate it.
So what reads Poplar is 29th?
Yes, sir, I believe that's 29th, also known as 29th Avenue.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Item number 8 is sidewalk cafe ordinance amendment discussion.
Yes, I
Ms.
know we have all been
Ms.
breathlessly
Christ.
waiting for this
Did we just,
final discussion about
Exactly.
sidewalk cafe ordinance. And I know Mr. Smelly was able to send you in advance some possible fees that we discussed last week. I think there were 5 options that we were asked to come up with for consideration. And so let's take a look at where we are, what we may be looking at. So our current fee options are in that first column. You see the application fee is $100. If you don't have alcohol in your sidewalk cafe, you are paying $100 extra for your license. If you do have alcohol, it is $250. Option 1 is what we presented last week, what we came up with on October 18th, and then what was discussed at the December 6th Admin and Policy Committee. A $500 application fee, and then $1 per square foot with no alcohol, or $2 per square foot with alcohol. Option 2 was what was discussed with the Downtown Merchants Alliance individuals after our meeting last week, an application fee of $150, so a small increase there, and then whether you have alcohol or not, $1 per square foot. There was also a request to make an option that would be tied to a right-of-way use permit. So another $150 application fee, and then $1 per square foot if it was tied to a right-of-way use permit, or $1 without one, and then $2 per square foot with a right-of-way use permit. Yes, Mr. Busby?
Actually, before you go on, make sure, re-educate me right quick on the right-of-way use permit. So, does that have to do with the different permanence of structures on there?
Yes, sir.
So, give me an example of one that does and one that doesn't.
So right-of-way use permits would be 5, the Temerson Square area, so where
5 and Temerson Square are
right-of-way
pretty
use
significant.
permits.
They've got columns and roof, right?
Correct, yeah.
What about, so bring it down a notch to, what Epiphanies is now Southwest? World of Beer.
World of Beer, that
World
was
of Beer
a,
has post bolted in board walls. What
Yes.
is that?
that should have been a right-of-way use permit.
Should have been, or
I think it is.
it is?
Yes, Mr. Gardner is confirming, right-of-way use permit was obtained. And remember that right-of-way use permits come through the city council.
Okay, so option 3. Blah, blah, blah. No. $150, $1 a square foot if you don't.
If you just have bollards and chains out there, you just follow the sidewalk cafe ordinance as it's written. And then if you do have a right-of-way use permit, think Mellow Mushroom, think 5, think,
Because there's no distinction between alcohol and no alcohol, because I assume they all have alcohol.
we just did one that tied it to a right-of-way use permit. And so you could possibly make a distinction whether there was alcohol or not. That would just break it down even further.
Okay.
Option 4 would be flat fee increases over a period of either 3 and 5 years. So application fee, this would be increasing it $50 a year through 2025. And then the license fee increases $50 a year, whether you have alcohol or no alcohol, through 2027. And then option 5 mimics another best practice from other communities in terms of a not to exceed total. So you would be looking at $1 per square foot, not to exceed $500 total, whether you had no alcohol or alcohol, and then $150 for an administrative fee or application fee. So what does that look like in practice? Quick, turn the page. This is what it looks like with some examples. And you can see what is currently happening with some of those downtown examples that we've been focusing on for the last little bit, and what it would look like for those individuals over time. Year 1, each year 1 will account for that application fee. And then year 2 and plus, no application fee is involved in that.
Leave that up there for just.
Yes, sir.
So option 1, some examples. 5 would go from $350 a year to $2,000. Year 2. Year 2 plus 250. Under current, 5.
Yes. Year 1 is,
$350.
yep, that
Year
includes,
2 plus.
yep, that includes
It
their
goes down.
$100 application fee in that first year. So in the year 1, they're making an application for $100, and then their license fee is $250.
Okay, I got you.
And then in years 2 and on, it is only that license fee.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the only one with pre-programmed increases is 4?
Yes, sir. That would be increasing it by $50 every year through 2027 is what we've programmed out, 5-year increase. Or 2028, I'm sorry, math
You
is
know
hard.
the average rent they pay on square feet inside? It's
I-
more than $2.
It is more than $2, yes, sir. It is more than $2. I want to say it's more than $15 a square foot inside as well.
Sure.
So, yeah.
So we've been like really giving them our space, basically.
It has definitely come at a very low cost.
Mr. Chair, I would like to, take a week to look at this, all of us in hand, so that we can kind of, I just want to see it in hand and cross out. That's just me.
Yeah,
So-
I think
Just as
we,
discussion.
we talked about that in admin policy. I believe
Right.
the issue with that is
Mr. Smelly's
the
back there.
business license
Oh, yeah, that's
are
right.
calculated and mailed out when?
We send them out at the end of December.
That's right.
Sent out at the end of December.
Yeah, now we're gonna
So
hold
if-
these,
Huh?
we're holding these because everyone's gonna have to, not reapply, but if we do change the rules, we're gonna have to look at everyone before we issue their 23 license.
So the relevance of that to Mr. Wilson's question is, does a week to absorb these 5 options impact implementation at all?
It requires you to make a call, and then we have to double up whatever your decision is. So our hope had been in sending the options out previously, which Mr. Smelly did at some point. But being able to consider those in advance, we might come up with a decision today. That way we could create the appropriate ordinances without having to double up.
And
I
Mr.
don't
Busby,
mind doubling up.
well, I think the problem with doubling up is we would need to know what we were doubling up to put on the council agenda the end of this week rather than next Tuesday. But we could I think do one of 2 options. We could either decide in committee next week which one of the options council wanted to go forward with and put that one on suspended rules that evening. Or we could go ahead and on the agenda put the multiple ordinances and you could vote one up and the other 2 down.
Couldn't you just put on the council agenda, couldn't you just put an almost boilerplate adoption of recommendation number blank?
No, sir, this
As
one,
recommended by council?
this one we have to, as ordinance and codes change, we actually have to put the full language of it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And we can insert that afternoon?
We could do a suspended rules. I
That
believe we,
requires suspended rules just to add the detail?
just to add whichever one of the 3 options. I believe we have them drafted, so I don't think that'd be a heavy lift on staff.
Can I ask committee members just a question, just a thought I've got? If we're gonna start something new, if we gradually, or if we said, like, to me, I think the best option is option 2, that's just me. That you say you've got the $150 fee, you're going to go $1 per square foot. And with the understanding, if Mr. Fail is okay with this, that we would pass this, and then we would also want it to be reviewed after 1 year, that we would look and see how this has worked, how has this affected businesses, and we're not kind of hitting them all real hard in the first year, where we can kind of take a step back and make sure it doesn't need to be adjusted or amended up or whatever, but I feel like we should look at gradually maybe moving into this. That's just my opinion.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may make one comment just on the revenue side of things, that the longer we have to be able to engage all of the businesses and the stakeholders that are out there to let them know of a change is coming, especially when that item is due in the next couple of weeks, the better off we all will be just to be able to do education, and to be able to have the general outline of what their fees will be within the next couple of weeks as soon as possible.
And anything that the committee passed or went through John's committee, the way I guess it would have if we had a committee meeting. Nothing's in stone. It can be, we could have more time and just let's see what works, or
I would be
totally
willing
change
to, I think number 2 is the mildest of the increases. I would be willing to support that because the important thing is, we need to get points on the board on this.
Agreed.
It's going up further, as long as I'm, it's going to go up further. But I'm fine with getting points on the board this year. If you wanna hold off next week, I'll listen, but I'm fine with going with the milder one, knowing that it's just gonna be this year. And next year, we're gonna get started a good 2 months in advance of the end of the year.
So that we don't make a decision at the last
Yeah.
minute.
If I may.
That's my concern.
Option one is my favorite, but I can agree with Lee on this. If we make a change now, with the understanding that we may go to option one a year from now and let people be aware of that. But I think option one, frankly, is more fair. I think we've been giving people free space, and they've gotten used to it, and I don't blame them for being used to it. But this is city property, and just everybody can't do business on city property.
I will support the mild one for this year, but ultimately with more time, it makes a difference whether you got a right-of-way permit or not. And it makes a difference how big a space we're talking about.
Yeah.
And if, again, as you and I talked about at lunch, if it's not a good deal for the business owners, they don't have to do it. If it's not a good commercial deal, they can say, you know what, y'all keep your fees. But for this year, we're in a crunch, I will go with the mild one if you wanna do that, or if you wanna hold off, I'll support you.
I'll be fine with that, but I think that when it comes to things like this, I don't wanna make a hasty decision. I don't wanna feel rushed. I wanna be able to chop all of them up, look at the pros and the cons, and then make a quantified decision. Okay?
Totally understand. So I would,
So do you wanna make a
yeah,
motion?
I will
to
make a
amend?
motion that we accept option 2 for this year with the understanding that this will be reviewed by admin policy and whatever, if John's okay with that, in the fourth
Second.
quarter, let's say in October.
I was gonna say, just like
Specific
just
about
like we did this year, we can get it started in September.
That'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And John, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Come to your committee then, that's fine.
Okay.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And thank y'all
Thank
for
y'all.
condensing this into
y'all.
5 distinct options. It gives us some real food to talk amongst ourselves.
Ashley, your folks have done a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And next year, when we come at this, I'm not interested in dollar per table, but if you could, we need to get some sense of how valuable this use is. And we can talk offline about how to do that. We don't need to use any individual establishment, but we can pick 2 or 3 that are representative and say, well, your total footage is this, and and we don't need to know the names of them, but you're bringing in this much money according to what you're paying taxes on, so this right-of-way usage is worth this.
I think we'll find out it's worth a whole lot
I
more.
think it's gonna be worth a lot more, but it would be nice to have some sense of that going into it.
Thank y'all. The next committee meeting will be held on the 20th, not January 10th. We have a meeting next Tuesday.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, this is not the Santa Claus wish list, Vicki. Our next meeting will be next April. No, I'm sorry. Our next meeting is December the 20th. Y'all don't mess me up. I'm better on script. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Matthew, you good? All right, all in favor